This movie might be very boring, but damn, does it make me want to work out. Come on, yes.
Rambo 3.
Hello everybody, my name is Mr. Hat, and today we're going over Rambo 3 for this week's Stallone month video. This is supposed to be the final explosive climactic trilogy ender, blah blah blah. The movie that apparently in 1990 won the Guinness World Record for most violent movie because it had a shit ton of on-screen kills. But even though that might be true, this movie really has nothing going for it at all. I got barely anything good to say about this movie, but let's just get into those, alright? Let's go over the little things that I did like about this film. First off, I guess the big main thing is I like that Murdoch, what's his name? No, it's Trautman, he's not the same cheesy fucking hype man that he is in the first two movies where he's just constantly being the hype man for Rambo. Talking a big game about him, like, yeah, he's gonna fuck you up when he gets there, you better be afraid. Trautman in this movie, he at least is, like, vulnerable, and he's the one that's captured, and he actually has some moments to show some humor, show a different side of him that we didn't get to see before. The beginning is kind of interesting. We see Rambo, he's baton fighting, stick fighting to make money in Thailand. He's living a normal life there, he's adjusting there, he likes it there. I enjoy seeing Kurtwood Smith in this movie. He's Red Foreman in That 70s Show, one of my favorite shows growing up. You know, the character always said dumbass, talking about sticking his foot up your ass. My favorite character. But unfortunately, he gets a very small role in this movie. He could have been like the bad guy. That would have been more interesting. He should have been the bad guy in part 2, now that I think about it. I like that this movie has some very good continuity with the scars on Rambo's body, all the scars that he's gained from the first movie and second one, the stitched up wound from the first one, and the scar on his face from the second one. At least they're trying to have some continuity in this fucking franchise. Some franchises failed to do that in the 80s. I'm looking at you, Friday the 13th. And other than the fact that this might be just an 80s nostalgic fucking action-packed film towards the end, even though the action's really not that good. That's it. That's really all I got to say about this movie. There's not much to talk about. In fact, I gotta say, this movie's pretty fucking boring. This is just another one of those movies that has that cliche dilemma in it where it's like, no, I'm not gonna do it. I refuse. I'm not gonna do it. And then they cut. Alright, he's doing it. How many times we get to see that in a movie where someone's like, no, I'm not going to do it, but then something happens to where they have to go do what they said they weren't going to do. This is just another one of those movies. Another one of those movies where if people are underwater, bullets never seem to actually hit them. They just kind of go around them. Again, Rambo is basically bulletproof in this film. He gets shot maybe once, and it's always non-fatal, and he lights his whole insides on fire to fix his wound. Is that really how it's done? Is that actually working in real life? Is that really what they do? They just light their insides on fire to fix the wound? This movie has very weird subtitles. Like, literally, like, any little tiny thing, like shit that you can't even hear in the background is being subtitled for you, in case you can't hear the impossible. I hate the whole convenience factor that almost everybody in Afghanistan and these Russians all speak English. Really? Am I supposed to believe that? Because I don't. And what the fuck is this one Afghan guy wearing a Rolex watch? He has the fanciest fucking watch, but his whole wardrobe shouts, I'm poor! Apparently this guy only invested his life savings into a watch and not getting the fuck out of Afghanistan. This movie wastes his time trying to like make Rambo fucking bond with these people he could give a shit less about by making him play this sheep game. And this sheep game has a very big flaw in it. And that is that the horses can ruin the circles they drew in it. Because apparently you gotta drag this sheep to these 3 circles, and if you do, you win. But the circles are painted on the sand, and the horses, there's a shit ton of them, they're gonna ruin that sand circle. Then you're just gonna constantly redraw circles? It seems like way too much effort for a shitty game. John Rambo, he has this necklace that the girl gave him from the second one, the Vietnamese girl who died, saying, don't forget me. He just gives that necklace that means the world to him to this fucking kid he just fucking met. Do you really care for that kid that much? Really? More than the woman who you're gonna spend your life with in the second movie that you fell in love with? You're just gonna give it to this kid? I found that unbelievable. I don't know why, but for some reason that kind of irked me. I was like, really? Come on, that should be precious to you. You don't just give something like that to a little pipsqueak. The action in this movie is not creative at all. It's just lots of shots of explosions, people getting shot up, just random helicopters, doing drive-by helicopters in the beginning of the movie, at the end of the movie, same shit over and over and over and over again. Lots of sneaking around that we got from the second movie is in this one. Literally every little thing in the second movie is just redone in this movie. You know, you got the one bad Russian guy in this movie again. You got the bad Russian guy henchman who's like really tall and buff that has to fight Stallone. Got that again in this movie. Lots of little things that are in the first 2 movies are just picked up and thrown in this movie again. There's nothing creative, nothing new. It's just the same bullshit, except it's not done as good, and the whole atmosphere of the sandy fucking desert is not aesthetically pleasing. It's making it even more boring. So therefore, I gotta say, when it comes to Rambo 3, this movie to me, as an adult, is wasted time. As a kid, I kind of enjoyed this film for what it was, but as an adult, it kind of bores the shit out of me, especially when I just watched the first 2, and those were actually decent. Hopefully the 4th one's better. I remember that one being very brutal and very, very intense. So I hope that one is better than this one. I want to wash this one's taste out of my mouth immediately. But those are my thoughts on Rambo 3. What did you think about this movie? Is this your least favorite too? Let me know in the comments below. And as always, if you liked this video at all, you can hit this like button to show me how much you liked it. And you can support my channel by clicking on my cartoon face in about 5 seconds to see more. And until next time, I'll read this to you.